I spent over 5,000 euros on data analytics courses and certifications, SQL, Power BI, Python. And when I finished, I still had no idea how to actually do the job. And the worst part, today, AI can do most of what I learned in seconds. So the question is, was it a waste of money, or is there something fundamentally wrong with how data analytics is being taught? Let me tell you what nobody says. When I started learning data analytics, I was motivated. I bought courses, watched hours of tutorials, practiced queries late at night, learned how to clean data set, built beautiful dashboards, and I felt smart. Because courses are designed to make you feel progress. You finish a module, then you complete a project and get a certificate. But then something happened. I started working on real business problems. And suddenly, nothing looked like the course. Data was 10 times more complex, question wasn't clear, stakeholders didn't know what they wanted. Instead of requests to build a dashboard, stakeholders asked me to check sales because something seems wrong, that was it. No structure, no clear guidelines. And I realized something uncomfortable. I knew how to use tools, but I didn't know how to think like a business. Most data analytics courses focus heavily on syntax and technical tools. You learn how to join tables, how to build calculated columns, how to create dashboards. And I'm not saying this knowledge is useless, it's foundational. But here's the shift that's happening now. Technical execution is no longer rare. AI can do technical tasks. So if your entire competitive advantage is, I know how to use the tool, that advantage is shrinking very fast. What companies actually value today is not the person who can build a dashboard, but who can look at the dashboard and say, what this means for company's strategy. Knowing Power BI doesn't make you indispensable. Understanding how change in a metric or KPI can impact business and what decision needs to change because of it, that's what makes you valuable. And most courses barely touch that. Another thing that really bothered me later is the kind of data sets that are used in courses. You've probably worked with the Titanic dataset or the Iris dataset. They're clean, structured, have clear variables, and defined objective. Real company data is nothing like that. It's messy, inconsistent, spread across multiple systems. Sometimes definitions even change depending on the department. And even more importantly, real problems require context. If you're analyzing churn in a SaaS company, but you don't understand how the company makes money, what customer acquisition cost is, how lifetime value works, or what part of the funnel is most expensive, then you're just calculating numbers without meaning. You can compute churn, but you may completely misinterpret why it matters. And that's the difference between someone who knows data and someone who understands business. Most courses teach you how to manipulate data, and very few teach you how businesses actually operate. There's another part that surprised me even more. A huge part of being a data analyst isn't about technical skills at all. It's about communication, managing expectations, clarifying vague requests. It's sometimes pushing back and think, what decision will this analysis influence? My company once spent 3,000 euros on a Power BI course that turned out to be purely theoretical. The biggest issue? I never practiced with my company data. It's ironic. These courses claim to teach analysis, yet they miss the most important part. You can build a world-class dashboard, but without the ability to explain its impact, it's essentially useless. In reality, a large percentage of the job is translating between data and business, and that translation skill is rarely taught. Certificates feel productive. They give you a sense of progress, but a certificate proves completion, not competence. You can complete 10 courses and still freeze when someone asks your opinion on retention drop in Q3 because the hard part isn't writing the query. It's deciding what to look at in the first place, forming hypotheses, predicting consequences. That kind of thinking usually only develops when you force yourself to solve messy, ambiguous problems, and courses are often too structured to create that discomfort. If I have to learn data analytics again, I would change my approach. First, I wouldn't focus on collecting certificates, I would focus on building scenarios. For example, I would pick a specific type of company, let's say a SaaS startup. Then I'd imagine that churn suddenly increased by 5%. And I would try to write a list of questions to build hypothesis. Which customer segment? Did pricing change? Did product usage drop? Were there more support tickets? Did competitors launch something new? Then I would build an analysis around those business questions. Not just technical exercises, because that forces you to combine tools with reasoning. Second, I would apply what I call the so what rule. For every chart you create, ask yourself, so what? If this insight is true, what decision should change? Does this increase revenue? Does it reduce cost? Does it improve retention? If your analysis doesn't influence a decision, it's not creating value. And companies don't pay for dashboards. They pay for better decisions. The uncomfortable truth is that AI has changed the game. It has dramatically reduced the value of pure technical execution. It hasn't eliminated the need for technical understanding, but it has simplified it. What AI hasn't replaced is business judgment. It doesn't sit in meetings, it doesn't understand company politics, it doesn't balance trade-offs between departments, it doesn't decide strategy. That's still human. And that's where your edge can be. But that edge won't come from another certificate, it will come from understanding how businesses make money and how data supports decisions. Data analytics courses aren't useless, they give you foundations. But if you believe that mastering tools alone will make you competitive in the next few years, you're probably underestimating how fast the landscape is changing. The future data analyst isn't just a technical expert. It's someone who understands context, strategy, and impact, and uses tools to support that thinking. That's the difference between knowing data and creating value with data. And that difference is what builds real careers.